Mr. Speaker, I don't know if I have a chance to speak up again in this House, so let me just take this moment to say Merry Christmas to all the people in Sherwood Park. To start off my debate on Bill 9, I'd like to talk about the tyranny of the anecdote. Watch a story on Fox News, ban automated ballot counters in municipal elections. Hear a story about a doctor in Ponoka who's billed too much, blow up the billing system for family doctors, and while you're at it, blow up the whole Alberta healthcare system. Heard a story about a person collecting AISH that doesn't look disabled. Let's cut back all of the federal disability payments, put that into general revenue, and create a two-tiered AISH system in Alberta while we are at it. Know a story about a boyish-looking girl that was playing high school basketball, set women's rights back 100 years, and override the rights of a select group of Albertans. Why is it so important to defend the rights of trans people, even if someone disagrees with the way they present themselves to the world? I think because people refuse to think about the bigger principle involved. Because if you're allowing the government to take away the rights of someone that you disagree with, you allow the government to usurp the rights of everyone. And they may come after your rights next. And that is exactly what we have seen this year. The UCP manufactured the teacher strike with our school kids as pawns. They took away the rights of teachers for free association, which include the right to strike, which is just a group of people withholding their labour, as is their right, along with the workers they are associated with. The UCP took away the rights of teachers in a situation that did not require the use of the notwithstanding clause to circumvent the courts and eliminated the traditional check on the Premier's power. Some say they did it to normalize the use of the notwithstanding clause in Alberta, so they now could bring forward legislation that takes away human rights for a minority group. So to the trans kids in Alberta, I want you to know we are adults and we're going to fight for you. We will fight to keep you safe in your community. We will fight to allow you to thrive in Alberta. Your journey and your struggle for identity is difficult enough. No government has the right to legislate intolerance. They have the power, and that is a problem. Their abuse of power will be their undoing. But they do not have the right to intrude into your life, oppress you, and make you feel unwelcome or unsafe. To girls playing sport, I want you to know we are adults and we will fight for you. We will fight to the end this repugnant discrimination against you by members of the legislature. It is astonishing to me that this government has required girls, not boys, only girls, to the humiliating requirement that they attest to their gender identity in order to play sports. And in the most ridiculous of all regulations, enshrined in law a requirement that a girl, not a boy, only a girl, will be required to prove that they are, if anyone wants to challenge them, they will have to prove their sexual identity. I am embarrassed that in 2025, the fight for gender equality has taken such a dramatic step backwards in Alberta because of the wrong-headed ideas of some members of this Legislative Assembly. They are giving power over female athletes to some stranger to say, I don't think you're a real girl. Prove it. They are giving power over female athletes to men to check their body. And if you think anything other than that will happen, you are in denial. You are risking so much that you can pretend that you're defending fairness in sport. Fairness in one match, in one game, in one tournament, in one competition. If you want fairness in sport, fund women's sports in Alberta to the level you fund men's sports. Add up all the public money you have directed to arenas and facilities for men's professional sports in Alberta and give that to women's sport. Yep. Spend as much money on women's sports as you spend on men's sport, and you might achieve a level of fairness and a definition of fairness that is broad and inclusive and transformative. But instead, you are giving power to men over girls to require them to prove they have a vagina in order to play sports. Then you are giving power to strangers to challenge their right to play sport. You are risking too much. It is estimated that there are 12,000 transgender and non-binary Albertans, 0.12% of our population. 1 in 10,000 Albertans are women. You're going to give power to men over all the girls, so you can make sure that 1 in 10,000 girls is not a trans girl that wants to play sports. You are risking too much. You are trampling on the rights and freedoms of every girl in Alberta in order to make sure that 1 in 10,000 of them do not compete in sports. And you are doing it in the name of fairness. Mr. Speaker, I checked the government's website. There are approximately 30,000 13-year-old girls in this province. 3 of them might be trans, and we are going to trample on the rights of all women and all girls so that we can make sure that 3 that are struggling for their own identity are not going to play competitive sport. There are, same as you follow all the way through, 17-year-olds, 30,000 17-year-old girls in this province. 3 might be trans, and you are going to trample on all women's rights so that you can make sure there's fairness in sports. And you can invest an equal amount as you do into men, and you would achieve so much more, and it would be so much better for Alberta. To the doctors that care for patients, I want you to know we will fight to protect your freedom of conscience. We will fight to restore your evidence-based care in Alberta. We will fight to restore your evidence, we will fight to protect your patient access to vaccinations and reproductive care. We will fight to keep politicians out of the examination room and restore your patient rights in Alberta. To the parents that love your kids, that want them to grow up in a welcoming and safe society, we will fight for them alongside you. We have before us the clearest of language legislation in Bill 9 brought forward by the UCP that will take away the fundamental rights of Albertans. Bill 9. This act shall operate with notwithstanding sections 2, 7 to 15 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, fundamental freedoms, legal rights, and equal rights. The act shall operate notwithstanding the Alberta Bill of Rights. This act shall operate notwithstanding the Alberta Human Rights Act. When anyone's rights are oppressed, everyone's rights are at risk. Every unionized worker in Alberta, every woman, every girl is on notice. The rights you enjoy are being oppressed. You can be discriminated against. Your opportunities in Alberta can be limited. I've talked in this House before about the journey from intolerance to tolerance to affirming. Well, the UCP is affirming in legislation. It is affirming intolerance into legislation, and it is infuriating because they do not have the right. They may have the power for now, but they do not have the right to impose an ideological zeitgeist, wrong-headed ignorance, and intolerance onto others. We are supposed to be a society of tolerance, a society of democracy. People are people, you be you, and I'll be me. How did we get to this moment in our province when intolerance, discrimination, and sexism could be enshrined into law? And for what? It's not clear. So some bully can tell a girl to prove that she's a girl. MLAs that refuse to think about the bigger principle that is involved do not care about individual rights. They think they need to impose their own beliefs on others. They cannot let people be people. Instead, they have chosen to legislate intolerance into the province, intolerance that will shame, harm, and scare children. It's terrible. And let's keep in mind the trade unions, doctors, nurses, teachers, healthcare workers, educational assistants. They came for the trade unions. Well, the trade unions in Alberta have spoken. Let's make it known to the wider public. Every chapter of the firefighter union in this province cancelled meetings with the government the moment the UCP voted to override the rights of teachers in this province. The government took away the right of association. It took away the constitutional right to strike from teachers, and the firefighters stood up. Our heroes stood up to stand alongside teachers, to stand alongside vulnerable children, to stand alongside girls. Firefighters are standing up for their principles because they understand that when you allow the government to take away the rights of someone you disagree with, you allow the government to usurp personal rights, and this government has proven they will take away the rights again and again. Let us go to the people of Alberta. Let us find out, do they want authoritarianism that has creeped in from the other side of the House to govern this province with malice, with incredible incompetence, without integrity, and without accountability? Or do Albertans want an ethical, competent government now? Let's test the voters. Stop hiding. Because it's clear, if you thought you could take away people's rights with no consequences, you are not fit for government, not in Canada. We cannot become desensitized to this shift in our democracy. This is not politics as usual. This is also not left or right issue. Conservatives and progressives in Alberta are equally concerned about the direction that the UCP is taking our province, because there does not seem to be any space for reasonable people in the UCP political tent. The UCP government has invoked the Charter's notwithstanding clause 4 times now, taking away the rights of select groups of Albertans. They did this to shield undemocratic laws from court challenges. On occasion, when judges determine that a law created by elected representatives is unconstitutional, they are doing the job that elected representatives gave them. Judges play a critical role in the iterative process of our democracy. We need checks and balances. It's a problem if a law is found to be unconstitutional by judges, because it means it's unenforceable. It is then sent back to the government to decide if they want to fix it or pass the law, notwithstanding the fact that it overrides a person's charter rights. That is a big problem for the UCP. They don't like opposition, even though it is a part of our healthy democracy. They don't like reasoned debate. They don't like to be held accountable for their policies and decisions. Our democracy is something that we make, is something that we invest in and work on every day. We choose our direction forward. We need competent, ethical provincial government that represents the priorities of Albertans and values democracy. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Hear, hear.